Hi, Majo John Madden here outside the Walmart in Hidalgo. My dog is once again a total inspiration to me. His capacity to be peaceful in any situation. When there's nothing going on, he just chills. He just bees. He just lets himself be. And it's been a pretty overcast day, so the sun peeked through for a while at sunset here, and I could not find my camera. I missed most of it. But I'm going to use this backdrop to talk a little bit about, I'm going to stay right here because the wind is still blowing a lot. And I intentionally raised the window of the door to give a little wind protection. So I heard the story this morning about the Justice Department report about Louisville Police, and then just now they covered it again. And the police department is claiming that it's totally wrong, totally wrong. Of course they would. So many of the black people in Louisville are saying, praise God, finally you saw it. And I saw it. I was in Louisville the entire summer of 21, right after, a few months after Breonna had been killed. And her picture was everywhere, all the shops, I mean lots of shops, not just black shops. And women of a certain age all felt like her mother. They all were grieving. The whole community was grieving. I had a bigger van then, and I had Breonna's picture in my window there for a while after leaving Louisville. I went to Louisville to reach out to my estranged son, and that was not successful. But I threw myself into the Black Lives Matter cause and had lots of amazing experiences. I had been going to Louisville for 40 years to visit my son, who grew up there, and he, a black man, had never ever mentioned the West End, the huge ghetto on the west side of Louisville. I did not know of its existence. My son had grown up with his mom in the Highlands, very lovely, hilly, very green area. The West End is flat, bombed out, devoid of resources. Little by little over the years, the resources had been stripped away from it. The big, I guess, Kroger department store, this black security guard, I talked to her in my son's neighborhood, and she said, I won't take an assignment at that store. That's terrible. That neighborhood is loaded with drive-through liquor stores. Let's keep them drunk so they won't riot. And very dispirited people. In the many months after Breonna's killing, there had been daily, very peaceful protests after a week of violent protests. And I went down to that park and I hung out at the Riot Cafe. A white woman had taken over a coffee shop that had been not burned out, but the windows knocked out. And she says, okay, because she was totally with Black Lives Matter. She said, you want to call it a riot? Let's call it a riot. So it was the Riot Cafe, and it was a gathering place, and I loved that place. Right after I got there, a discovery I made, there was not a Stripes, and there was a Circle K convenience store where we hung out a lot. And it was out more towards my son's neighborhood. He couldn't afford to buy a house in the Highlands, and they've moved out to the burbs. Pretty diverse. A lot, the Indians and all. His wife is Bosnian. Little Bosnia is out there, stuff like that. A young cashier that we liked an awful lot at that Circle K convenience store said, I identify as a person of color. I've got Asian in me. But I will not go downtown. Oh my God, the black people are so angry, they will rip you out of your car and beat you just because you're white. And that was so far from the truth. Oh my God, that was so far from the truth. We hung out downtown a lot. And the downtown was great. It was wonderful. And it is true that I encountered more dirty looks from black people in Louisville than any place else, in my experience. But hey, they got a reason to be pissed off. She was killed in her bed, and it wasn't a one-off. It was not a one-off. I study policing. I've consulted with police. I have police friends. I travel in a camper van, so I attract police attention and have lots of conversations, some of them wonderful. I've never been afraid of police before Louisville. I was afraid of cops there. And that got corroborated in lots of ways. One night I had parked, I had taken the liberty to get out of the parking lot. You were not allowed to park in a parking lot that belonged to a park, even if it was right on the edge. When I went to Chicago, they said, "Of course you can. You know, it's a people's parking lot. Yeah, of course." But no, Louisville. I was regularly harassed for doing that. So that I wouldn't get harassed one night, I pulled way back in the park. I ran along a ridge and hid behind a tree. And when the cops showed their big flashlight into my van, because it was really hot and the windows were all open, and woke me up with the flashlight, I said, "How'd you guys even find me?" You know? But those same guys, after me, went down into the parking lot where a young couple had a kind of a beat up old RV that they were traveling in. Lovely couple. And 1 o'clock in the morning, they were pounding on the side of that RV yelling, "LMPD, Louisville Metro Police Department," which, after Brianna's killing, the sound of that banging on your door in the middle of the night sent shivers to me, wondering what it was like for them. And that cop that night lied and said, "I told you last time that next time I catch you in the park, I'm impounding your car," and he hadn't said that at all. But I did believe he would next time. And I had a wonderful conversation with a police officer. The town of Louisville has expanded and incorporated several municipalities that used to be independent, and some of those have kept their own police department. And I had a great conversation with Mike, somebody who was the chief of one of those departments, and had responded to a call about why was I parked where I was parked. And he and I had a fabulous conversation, as several I've had. It was one of like 6 different cops or chiefs who have given me their card and said, "If you have any problems, have people call me." And he said of Louisville, he said, "There's a lot of good officers in the Louisville force, but there's some real pricks." And I take the liberty of quoting that word, because when a cop calls another cop a prick, you know that that's a bad person. Bad person. And Mike's story was, no, we collaborate. If it's in our district, we take the lead, and they get the same dispatches, and they'll back us up. And I said that to a Louisville cop, and he says, "You know, those are peanut farmers. Those guys are joke cops, clown cops. No, we run the show. We're in charge of everything here." So I've been saying for 2 years, Trump had thrown out all those attempts to rein in rogue police departments, and Biden had put 3 back in for Portland, Minneapolis, and Louisville. And I've been saying they're going to find a bunch. And they did. They did. And it's about time. And it will give maybe some hopefulness to some people in Louisville who it's high time. High time.